Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Her podcast. Today is a super exciting day, and I'm incredibly excited to welcome one of our amazing Healthy Eating Hype Gal members, Niv, to the podcast. Niv is a busy, working full-time mum who juggles a demanding career and all of the things. And like so many of us, Niv has tried countless diets, Light and Easy, Sam Wood's program, and more, but struggled to find something that delivered sustainable, long-term results. That's when she made the jump and decided to join the Healthy Eating Hype Gal membership. Since then, Niv has completely transformed her approach to food and wellness. She's gone from skipping meals to enjoying a balanced, inclusive diet where nothing is off limits, not even cocktails or chocolate. With her new mindset, she's already down 6.1 kilos and still losing on her way to her goal, but more importantly, has embraced food freedom, ditching the all or nothing mentality once and for all. She is here today and has been so kind to share her incredible journey in the hopes that her story will inspire you to take that next step towards achieving your own weight loss and healthy eating success story. Welcome, beautiful Niv, to the Healthy Her podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jen. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a journey. So really excited to be here.
Yay, we're so grateful. And I just feel like these are conversations that we should be having more as women. So I know that you're a busy working mum juggling all the things. So I know myself and the Healthy Her podcast community are so grateful for you giving up your time today to share your story with us. So I thought we'd start by, did you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Yeah, just give us a little bit of an intro to who Niv is.
Yeah, sure. Well, I am a busy woman in my 40s. I'm a wife, a mum of 2 daughters. I'm a fur mum as well. I've got a little cavoodle and I've got busy full-time role in corporate.
So you are definitely juggling all of the things like so many women these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all really inspired to hear your transformation and your weight loss journey. So can you kind of walk us through a little bit about your weight loss journey prior to joining the membership, perhaps programs you've tried, and why you struggled with your weight? And like I said, I really want to stress that I'm super grateful for you to be opening up with us, because I feel like these are conversations that we should be having more as women. So thanks for being so open with us.
Yeah, I think it's really good to learn from people. And Jen, I've learned so much from you on the membership as well. But for me, I think I was at a point in time where I've just tried everything and really after that quick fix. And I think in today's world, we've got so much information. It's like information overload. So I've tried from shakes to Weight Watchers back in the day, to Sam Wood, to keto, intermittent fasting, Light and Easy, you name it. I think I've tried nearly everything out there.
Given it all a go.
Yeah, but it was all for that quick fix. And it wasn't about a sustainable way. It was till I lose the weight, that was the mindset.
Yeah, just wanting to try and find the quickest solution to the problem. And why do you think those things didn't work for you?
Yeah, so for me, I think, yes, I would lose some weight initially and that was quick, but it wasn't, motivation would run out the door, life happens. And that's when it's how do I navigate when things perfect? And I definitely had that perfectionist mindset of, I had to get X number of workouts a week. I had to eat, what's on the good list of food. And when that doesn't happen, it's just all out the door. And really it's the other way around. And so end up putting it back all the weight you lost.
Yeah, that's right. And exactly what you're talking about is what so many women struggle with. It's that perfectionist mindset. And I'm so guilty of this too. If I couldn't do it perfectly, I was like, right, well, that's it. I'm done. I'll quit. and I'll start again later. And we just get stuck in this cycle of quitting all the time. And, as you've learnt yourself recently, it's not that you can't do it. You're a very capable person. It's just changing that mindset and focusing on healthy habits that can actually sustain you for the long term,
100%.
Now, I still remember one of your first DMs. I can't remember exact word for word, but I remember that you sent me a DM and it was basically like, oh my God, Jen, like, where have you been? You sound exactly like what I need. And I still remember that message. So just tell our listeners, like, how did you find me? What were your first thoughts? What stood out for you, like, as being a bit different from things that you'd previously tried?
So I think I found you back on Instagram last year, and there's so many health handles that are on Instagram, and I think with you were just so relatable, and then your podcast dropped and I was like, oh my gosh, like your story is so relatable to what women face today. Like we've got challenges that were different to the previous generations or what our mums have had. And it's how do we navigate this society where everything is instant? We're on Amazon Prime. We want the delivery the next day. We want the weight loss the next day.
That's such a good way of explaining it. So true.
How do we navigate that expectation of wanting it the next day and being perfect in this day and age? I think that was what really resonated about you, was just to how to navigate life with your goals of health and well-being, and that it is those sustainable changes and habits that you do daily and how you build them. And it's not your fault that we're like this, or, it's not your fault that you haven't met your goal or things like that.
Absolutely. Because that's always a big thing. Like I always want, women to understand that, because I know that was a big aha moment for me, because for so long I felt like I was a failure. Like, what's wrong with me? I must be weak. I've got no discipline. I've got no motivation. Like, why can't I stick? Like, I'm broken. Like, I used to think that I was broken. But then when I actually looked at it properly and worked out my deficit and went about things the right way and building those healthy habits, I just realized I'm actually a smart woman and I can do this. And I need to tell other women as well that they're really smart, really capable, and they can actually do this. So I just love that you have been able to find me and to be able to create that new healthy lifestyle for yourself. Okay, so now this is kind of one of my secret methods that you get when you join the membership. But as you know, within 7 days, you get access to my exclusive diet audit and calorie deficit process. So without giving away too much, when you went through that process, that 7-day diet audit, like what did you find out about yourself? What did you learn? What did you find out within that first 7 days?
I think what I found out for me that stood out is that data is really key. And I think what stands out with your membership, Jen, is that you actually learn to navigate your reality, not the thing that you buy, like the actual menu plan or the exercise plan. It's really how do you navigate your life and what you're doing right now so you can understand that moving forward. And it really gave me an insight into my macros, so things like how my protein.
Yeah. And what did you find with your protein?
I wasn't having enough protein. And when I started, a big downfall that I couldn't get myself through was like wasting calories on breakfast. I was like, no, I need those calories at night to snack. And I couldn't understand, because I've naturally not had breakfast for so long in that restriction mindset. That was a big thing to work through as well. And, now I'm a really happy breakfast girly.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're proud. Like Niva's always posting in the Facebook community group about how she's a proud protein-rich girly now, which is amazing. So, and how do you feel after starting your day now with a high-protein breakfast compared to skipping breakfast and then trying to bank those calories to eat at nighttime?
Yeah, way better. And I think that's another thing, again, about working with you, Jen, in the membership, is that it's really about how you feel and how it makes your life, you can show up better for yourself, for your work, for your family and your loved ones, because you are not hungry, you're not starving, and then you're not, at the end of the day, like coming home and eating all the bad food because you just haven't fueled yourself.
And like, I know for me, that's, because when you sort of first start, it's like, I want to drop numbers on the scale and all those kind of things. But as you slowly improve your eating and change your diet and things like that, you eventually, exactly what you said, like you hit the nail on the head, is that you start to choose to eat that way because of how it makes you feel. Because you know that when you don't eat enough protein, or if you skip meals, or if you go without breakfast, you start to feel really crappy and you go, I don't want to feel like that. So that's what gets you back on track. It's not motivation, it's not discipline. It's you're guided by how you feel, because you know that if you eat well and look after yourself and nourish your body, that you get to feel great, and I think that's what keeps you coming back to the healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that audit really gives you that perspective of your reality, not someone else's or not your colleagues or not your best friend, but, what is happening with nutrition for you, and then what tweaks can you make?
I love that, because I haven't, it's not a way that I've heard someone explain it before, but I really like that. I like the way that you said it's getting you to look at what's happening in your own reality. And that's so true, because we spend so much time, and again, super guilty of this, I've been where you are, and we spend all this time trying to eat what she's eating, or the friend at work who's just dropped 5 kilos, and you're like, okay, what are you doing? And how are you doing this? And okay, well, I'll eat what she's eating, or, and we get stuck down that pathway. Whereas exactly what you're saying, all of the answers you need are literally in your own reality. It's right in front of you. It's just changing the way that you do things and going about it in a different way, because all the information that you need, like you said, is right in front of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, good to hear that you got some amazing information from your 7-day diet audit. I'm always kind of interested to know, because something with the membership is, it's not a 5-week challenge or an 8-week challenge. I believe it's a membership because everyone takes a different amount of time to reach their goals. And sometimes as well too, you can hit your goal, but then you need that ongoing support of a membership for a while afterwards to help keep you on track and keep you making those healthy choices until it just becomes a staple in your lifestyle. I always like to ask, what did you find was different in the membership compared to other programs that you've tried? Was it the meals, the dessert? What did you find was different?
For me, Jen, I think it was really understanding that it's a skill. And I think that was the biggest thing, that I needed to actually learn and get better at this skill of nutrition, because everything I tried has had quick results, but then it was never sustainable, and I'd be worse off than when I started. And I guess the things playing through your mind of just failing each time.
And the thing is, too, every time you fail, it kind of knocks at your self-esteem. So the next time you start something new, you're sort of that mindset of, this is going to fail, it's not going to work. And you're sort of stuck in that loop.
Yeah, it builds that evidence that I'm not going to get there. And you just want that, and you want to buy the next thing that's going to be that quick fix.
That's right. That did work. Okay, must be that thing, and I'll go to the next thing,
The next one. Yeah. And it was trying to I guess instead of trying to find that next thing, I think what stood out about your membership is that it is, it's not that 5-week challenge or 1-month challenge. It is really understanding that it is a skill to learn, and that you can navigate with a community of like-minded women. There's other women on there that are there to support you. And I think life happens all the time. There can be some seasons where, you can meet all the goals that you've kind of set for yourself. And then others, it's there's just so much on your plate. So I think it's important to navigate during all seasons of your life. I think that's really what stood out for me, and having that support. There's meal plans, masterclasses with you, Jen, and then the coaching calls, and being able to ask those questions of I'm having a bad day, and you're able to really collaborate and get us back on track, whether it's having that muffin at morning tea at work and then that leads to more, and it's just having that reset straight away than letting it spiral.
I love that too, because, thinking back to conversations that we've had in coaching calls and things like that between the two of us and stuff. And in my experience, I find that it's often just that you just need someone in your corner. So you just need someone to say, I'm feeling really crap, or I've done this and I want to change this, or I've had this spiral and I've eaten everything. Because that's what happens, is we get up in our own head and then we just start this disaster spiral. Well, this isn't going to happen. I'm going to fail. This isn't going to work. Everything's bad like it always is. I'll just give up, and having that support and that response, because I remember a few conversations that we've had and you were like, Jen, should I change my calories? Is this not working yet? And I'm like, you're good. I'm like, you're good, Niv. You've done everything. Just trust the process. And then, 2 weeks later, you're posting something in the group going, yes, lost another kilo this week. So, whereas without that, I think often that as women, we just have that tendency to quit and to give up on ourselves. There's such a massive amount of patience that unfortunately, as not fun as it is, there's so much patience involved in getting to our end goal.
100%. And that's the thing, learning that consistency and those habits that work in your day-to-day life.
That's so true. Are you ready to step into a vibrant community of health-conscious women where your journey to helping feel easy begins? Welcome to the Healthy Eating Hype Gal community, your ultimate destination for mastering your relationship with food and embracing a healthy lifestyle. As a busy working mum who's lost 10 kilos, I've been through it all and I understand the struggle. That's why I'm here to teach you the exact steps and tools I use to lose weight, conquer my mindset and thrive, all while juggling the demands of everyday life. Say goodbye to no more confusing fad diets or overwhelming nutrition advice. In this community, I'll guide you through the maze of weight loss and healthy eating and explain it to you in a way that finally makes sense. From easy, family-friendly meal plans to my exclusive calorie deficit quick guide, monthly masterclasses, plus so much more, so you can finally make healthy eating an achievable lifestyle without restriction. It's time to ditch the confusion and overwhelm for good. Join today and kickstart your journey to a healthier, happier you. There's no perfect time to start. Let's make your wellness dreams a reality. Now, I know that one part of your journey that's really stood out to me is these huge, big mindset shifts that you've had around food. So for our podcast listeners, what would you kind of say have been I know you mentioned the breakfast one earlier, you've gone from skipping breakfast to now eating breakfast. What would you say are some of the 2 or 3 sort of big mindset shifts that you've had around food?
Yeah, apart from being that restrictive with cutting out breakfast and things like that, it would really be the food labels that I used to have of I can't have this because it's on the bad list, or I can't eat that. And that's been a huge shift because that's all I've known. It's either good or it's bad, and it's not.
So you would restrict those foods. So what would you consider what's a bad food? So what's something that you would not eat?
Yeah, so I think I'm a big sweet tooth girly. I do
yes,
love
well, I am too.
So it would be things like chocolates, ice cream, and
all the good stuff.
All the sweet things. And the fact that now I feel more satisfied than ever before. Lost 6 kilos on this journey and, got a bit more to go. But I think the main thing is that you feel satiated and you're not hungry and you're actually eating more variety of foods and you're not starving.
It's a big part of it, as I learned, is that, again, we think we're failures and we can't do it, but often it's just that we're not eating right and we're not eating a balanced diet, because when you eat a balanced diet, it's a lot easier to be in control and to make smart food choices. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%, because when you're not fueling yourself, that's when the one chocolate becomes the whole row or the whole block.
That's right. And often it's just because you're hungry. It's often that you're just not eating enough food, not enough protein, and so you genuinely feel hungry. And then, like you say, you end up eating a whole block of chocolate, you end up in the guilt spiral, you feel really bad, Okay, so have you got a couple of others that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think morning movement and just adding that to your day and not being I'm not the girl that works out, to actually just taking that action and fitting it in. And I know it's different for everyone, but for me, trying to get that movement in the morning, whether that's going for a walk or doing a workout, and having that consistency. I think that's been my major shift as well. If, it's not for a short-term period, but this is moving into your new identity of what your habits are.
Oh my goodness. I just feel like a proud mama bear right now. That is everything. And for people that are listening to, that is such a massive, Niv's just hit it on the head so perfectly, because so often we think it's lack of motivation, it's lack of discipline, but you have to shift into that new identity. You have to move, because so many of us, we have that old identity of, well, I'm lazy and I don't do the things that I say I'm going to do, and I don't work out, and I could never be a runner, and all of these kind of things. And exactly what you said, I love that you said you have to move into this new identity. You have created this new identity for Niv, this person that shows up for herself, that she works out when she says she's going to do, she's doing things consistently. And I just love it.
Yeah. And you build that evidence, I think, for yourself to then back yourself. Because I think the other times you just feel like you're not hitting those goals. So I think that's been a big shift as well.
That's right. And that's what it's about. If you can start to experience those little moments of success, it provides your body and your brain with that evidence that, hey, you know what? Can actually do this. And the more that as you've continued on your journey, you've continued to get more evidence that, hey, I can do this. I'm a busy working mum. I'm juggling all the things. I can actually do this. And like you say, it's that new identity and creating that new mindset around health and wellness for yourself. And as well too, that's the thing, it's that new mindset around health and wellness. That's not, exercising 7 days a week and going on crazy diets and eating perfectly and all that. It's about having a body that you like, that you love, that you feel good in, but you can still enjoy your lifestyle and still have a life and not have to be perfect at everything, which I absolutely love. Okay, I wanted to ask you, so many women struggle, and there are going to be so many women listening to this podcast that struggle with consistency, like showing up and managing their busy lifestyle. Like woman to woman, mum to mum, busy mum, what tips or words of wisdom do you have for women that they genuinely want to show up for themselves, but they really struggle? And sort of like any tips on how they can stop relying on motivation?
Yeah, I think my biggest tip is to just try to be kinder to yourself. I think there's so much that we women take on in being, whether it's a mum or a wife or a busy woman that's working or whatever you've got going on, is to be kinder to yourself. And I know there's a lot of guilt that comes with taking the time out from your family.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. So much guilt.
Yeah, so it's just working through those emotions and trying to realize that it's not your fault of where you are right now. That's not the place you want to be. And then my biggest tips would be like to take that action and make that right for you. And everyone is different. And like you mentioned on your audit, you get to really understand what are you consuming, what are you filling your body with, and then move forward from there to navigate life. But yeah, I think for me, sleep is a big thing. Like prioritizing that has been important in the membership and movement along with the nutrition.
And that's the thing. I think it's good that you mentioned sleep because it's something that's not really talked about enough. Sleep can have a massive impact on how you feel and also how you eat. Like, how hard is it to make a healthy choice when you are tired or when you've been up all night with sick kids or you've had to stay out late for a work thing? You just want to get the bag of lollies, the chocolate, the sugar, like whatever is going to give me the quickest energy rush. Like, it's really hard to go, no thanks, when you're tired. Like, sleep is so important.
Yeah, I agree, Jen. I think there's so much, I'm guilty of this, but mindlessly scrolling at night and making that habit now. That's one of my goals for 2025 is to reduce that screen time. And
do you have anything like, because like I know for me, like, I've been doing it for a while now, so it's easier. Like it's sort of, like 8 o'clock, the latest, I'm like, phone is off. Like even if I'm just watching TV on Netflix, like my phone is off or away or in the other room or whatever. Like, have you sort of started like a system to sort of like prioritize your sleep with your phone and stuff at nighttime?
Yeah, I have put in like an alarm on my phone, and mine's a bit later, so 9:30. So it's just like to stop and, it's just give me that reminder then that that's my daily thing on especially on weeknights or school nights, to put that phone away.
It's so good. And it's those little habits that can make such a difference to how you show up for yourself the next day. I love that idea of using an alarm. That's actually a really good idea, like a little reminder. I know there's apps and things I think as well too that will actually block you out of like social media and things like that. I've heard like people have had quite a bit of success with those. So just before I do our last question, so can you tell our listeners how much weight you have lost so far?
Yeah, so I've lost 6 kilos so far.
And you've got a couple more to go, you said, yeah?
I think 3 more to go to reach goal. But yeah, it's been a journey, and it's just really being able to learn more about yourself and how nutrition impacts the way you feel and your lifestyle and what's going on in your busy world with being, whether that's a wife, a mum, or working full time or whatever you've got going on, and being able to plan ahead. I know another tip is meal prep on Sundays. I never ever did that before until the membership.
I love a good Sunday meal prep.
Yeah. And you do a great job of reminding us every week, Jen.
Do your meal prep, girls.
Yeah. So just even if it's as simple as breakfast for the next 3 days, all those little things that you can do ahead of time or schedule in just help navigate the busyness of life.
Do you feel, because you started to change your lifestyle and the way that you eat and those kind of things, do you feel now that you are a better equipped to handle life's challenges and things that get thrown at you every day?
Yes, I think it's great for, my children to see what I'm doing. And then in terms of how I show up at work as a wife, as a mum, it just gives me that so much more energy to give my best as opposed to being tired and not having energy or not fueling myself with the right food.
Yeah, instead of showing up as the best version of you every day compared to just barely making it through every day. And that's the difference, isn't it?
Definitely. It makes it, because when you don't have those days, you really feel it. Like, the difference.
And I love too that you've mentioned back to how you feel, because that's always the guiding light. It's like, hang on a minute, I'm choosing to look after myself. and eat well because of how it makes me feel, and you're so right. And that's what will consistently keep you showing up for the long term, because even if you have like a month where you're like, your eating's not great and you stopped exercising stuff, this moment you will be reminded, wow, I really feel like rubbish. I need to get back to my meal prep and my water and all those kind of things. And that's why you will be able to finally break that dieting cycle, because you're focusing on something different. You're focusing on that feeling of how you feel, and that's what will keep you showing up every single time.
Yes, definitely. And getting your steps in is another goal that I have for myself.
I love that too. And it is a big one because it's a society issue. Like, it's because we sit so much more and we're at computers more and on our phones more. And so I think years ago, it was easy just to get daily movement in, whereas now it's something that you have to actively go, okay, I have to go for a walk today, or I need to do 3 15-minute walks today, or I need to walk around my office more, or park further away from my kids' soccer practice. Because of our society, it is something that we have to make a conscious effort to get that daily movement into our lives.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, last question that I have for you today. So if someone is listening to this podcast and thinking about joining the Healthy Eating Hype Girl membership, what advice would you give to them?
I would say to jump on it. I think there's no such thing as the right time in life, because life's always happening to us. And I think it'll just give you that clarity that you need to find your own journey. And what I love about the membership, if you're not locked into a contract, it's not a quick 4-week plan or a 5-week plan. You're going to learn the skills that are for you. And, as I know Jen speaks about this all the time, but it's not what's happening with your colleague or your friend or your sister. It's really about your journey, and that we are all different, and being able to learn those skills. I think that's an investment that's important. And now a great time as well. It's the start of the year. If wellness is on your agenda, then I think you'll be supported. There's a whole community of like-minded women in the membership as well. So you'll be guided with meal plans, masterclasses, coaching calls, you name it. And, you can ask those questions while you're navigating through your own journey of like what's coming up for you. I know for me, I've had holidays or work events or socials, birthdays, going out, all these things throughout my time with the membership. And you've always got clarity to navigate those times.
And that's what's great. Like, honestly, you are just such an inspiration. And I know that everyone listening is going to be super excited to keep following along on your journey and to hear how you're going. Is there anything finally that you want to add for our listeners, or tips or any bits of advice before we wrap up today's episode?
My tip is keep following the Healthy Her podcast and watch Jen on the Instagram as well. There's so much information out there, but I think if you want to invest in yourself and your wellness and your own personal journey, just get on there and start small. And even if it's one action that you take today, have a look on your phone at your health app and look at how many steps have I got in the last week. And even if you up that by 1,000 steps for the week, make those realistic goals what's for you. And I think in an environment where we're fed so much information, this membership really gets you to come back to yourself.
I just love that. You're such a beautiful human. Honestly, Niamh, thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed the chat. I think it's good for you to talk about this as well too, because it's really reflective. And I know as women, a lot of the times we sort of downplay our success or our progress, but it's when you get the opportunity to talk about it and share it with other people that you realize, wow, I've actually made a lot of progress and I've come a really long way. So you should be super proud of yourself. And I just want to say a massive thank you from me personally, and also from our listeners, for you taking the time out of your busy day today to share your story with us. We are super grateful.
Thank you, Jen. It's been an absolute honour as a listener on your podcast every week religiously to be on here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and I will see the rest of you in our next episode of the Healthy Her podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing, because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @theactivebod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.